Hi Smirconishers, welcome back to smirconish.com. This is the editor's report, and as you know, I'm your editor, Gili. So as I do every week, I'm going to highlight some of our best critical thinking original content available this week at smirconish.com, so let's get right into it. First up, we have Joseph Romano, who actually writes poems for the website, and he wrote a very illuminating poem called Election Escapades, discussing the challenges that this election will face in the coming months and after Election Day. Then we have Michael Murray with a piece called The QAnon Geek Squad Conspiracy, where he kind of breaks down what QAnon is and has a more humorous take on the conspiracy that has been trickling through the internet and was kind of adopted by some of the Republican base. Then we have a piece by B Kinberg, who wrote Joe Biden's Debt to Pete Buttigieg, where he discusses how Pete Buttigieg's dropping out of the race early paved the way for Biden to win the Democratic presidential nomination early on, before Corona really started. That feels like eons ago. Next up, we have David Paul with a piece called Is Trump Going to Lose? Republicans in Congress Think So. And he discusses how the GOP is handling this election and what senators and congressmen in the GOP are doing to support Trump or not to support Trump. Then we have James Palumbo with a piece called Systemic Change and the Criminal Justice System, where he really breaks down how systemic change can happen and what steps America needs to take collectively to get there. Then we have a piece by Evelyn Jordan called TikTok, It's Time to Save Our Nation, where she discusses the importance of the youth vote in this election and how all parts of government, all branches of government need to be taken by Democrats to create real change. Then we have Miles J Zemsky with a piece called Healthcare is a Right, Just Not Under Trump, where he discusses how the Trump administration has been waging a war against Medicaid and what we as citizens can do about it. Then we have a piece by Andrew Weissberg, who wrote Kamala Harris for the People, a perfect defense for her prosecutor problem, where he discusses how Kamala Harris being a prosecutor can actually be a good thing and how she can turn that messaging instead of something bad into something good for everybody if she shows off the right skills. And then we have Anthony Amore with a piece called Security and Policing in a Masked World, where he discusses how people wearing masks has really changed how policing and security systems work, because before the pandemic, they were based on facial recognition programs and masks do not allow for that. So take a peek at that really interesting and relevant piece. Then we have Laura Watts, Professor Laura Watts, who wrote Teaching in the Age of COVID, where she discusses how online teaching does have as much value and sometimes maybe more than in-person teaching if the professor or the teacher puts the right amount of work into it. And then last but not least, we have my essay for the week called Republican Politics from Limited Government to Chaos, where I kind of go over the evolution of the Republican Party, where they started and how they got to Trump, and really kind of focus on the last 10 years, how the Tea Party movement really took over the GOP, and it brought us to this chaotic moment in time right now in Trump's America. So take a look at that piece. And if you have any ideas for a critical thinking essay, make sure to email me at editor@smirconish.com. We would love to work with all of you. And as always, we hope that you're tuning in to CNN tomorrow morning for Smirconish at 9 a.m. And as always, on weekdays from 9 a.m. to noon for the Michael Smirconish program on SiriusXM. Have a great weekend and a great end to your summer.